My name is Gemma Matsuyama. I'm the pastry chef of Ototo and Tsubaki in Echo Park, Los Angeles. And I am a 2021 StarChefs LA Rising Star. So Tsubaki and Ototo are sister restaurants here in LA in Echo Park, and I make desserts here. My pastry style is Italian and Japanese, which is my background, and I grew up in New Jersey, so I make a lot of desserts that are influenced from my childhood memories, but I also love the Japanese wagashi pastries. The Vitamix blender definitely inspires me to create new dishes because it allows new applications for ingredients to transform. So today I'm making a tofu chocolate pudding with cacao nibs and fresh mochi. The inspiration behind this dish came from wanting to provide diners with a rich and homey dessert without feeling heavy. There's tofu as the base of the pudding. So in a Vitamix blender, I add the tofu, then I'll add the dates that have been pitted and soaked over water and until it's a very smooth consistency. I use dates as the sweetener so it's gentle on your body to absorb. After that is done, I add in the blender the rest of the ingredients, which is the cocoa powder, the salt, and the olive oil. The aerating container is a great tool to have. It's definitely changed the consistency of my tofu pudding. I noticed that the oil emulsifies so smoothly and it actually creates more air pockets that are not visible. So it's very smooth on the palate, but also light texture. And then there's rich chocolate with so many flavor profiles and textures. And I'll pour over melted chocolate over the blended tofu mixture, and I'll whisk that by hand, and then I set that aside in the refrigerator to chill and firm up. In a separate blender, which is dry, I add in the cacao nib brittle, and I just briefly chop it up until it's small bite-sized pieces. In the blender, I like using the low speed first and then turning up on high and just briefly pulsing it, and that gives me the perfect texture for the pudding or the cacao nib brittle. Having a Vitamix blender is a game changer. I have used other blenders and it's very different. The consistency that the Vitamix provides, the power of the motor, and the smoothness of the textures that it creates, it's just magical. For the mochi, in the blender, I add in the rice flour, the water, and the sugar, and I blend it on low to high speed for about 30 seconds until it's very smooth. I actually prefer using the Vitamix blender to blend the rice flour and the water because it doesn't create any lumps. So it actually cuts a step of straining, and that's why I love using it. So on a plate, I mound the chocolate pudding that's been chilled into a nice little triangle, and then I swoosh it around with my offset spatula. I sprinkle it with some of the chopped cacao nib brittle. And then I take a handful of mochi and put it on one side. And then garnish with some chocolate mint and chocolate garnish. And here we have the chocolate tofu pudding.